How's it going there, folks? My name is Tommy, welcome to the video. We're going to be taking a look at the new Smogon tier changes for the middle of November, following the TUNDRA DLC. And there's a lot of stuff to process here, a lot of wild tier changes. This is the overview right here, but I'm going to detail in a sec. Just before I forget, don't forget to leave a like on this video, ladies and gents, it will help me out a lot. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe for more competitive Pokemon content. Now, we're going to start with the tier rises. And first off we have UU to OU, Boswell and Nidoking. Both expected, to be honest. Boswell is an incredibly good physical tank, and Nidoking, with its amazing coverage and Life Force Sheer Force, is still very good in the OU tier despite not having the best of speed stats, or even special attack stats. Very potent threats. RU to OU, now this one kind of surprised me actually. Barraskewda. Barraskewda is very fast and very powerful, but it's a bit of a glass cannon. So, I'm not the biggest player of OU, I can only assume that it's been used to check some of the faster threats in OU, or even just spam it on rain teams, because it is incredibly powerful with the rain boosted liquidations, flip turns, and obviously it gets the swift swim boost as well, so very surprising that one, but it can work. There's no reason why you shouldn't be using Barraskewda on a rain team in OU. NUBL to RU, three very powerful dragons here, none of which should have been in NU in the first place, so perfectly reasonable, nothing much to say about that. In fact, I believe that Zydog will probably end up in UU, that remains to be seen though. NU to RU, Arctovish, Crobat, and Rabombi. Arctovish is only there because its hidden ability got released, that's fair enough, it is still a very good threat with the Slush Rush. Crobat, I was asking for ages to be moved up to RU, is no business being in NU whatsoever. Rabombi, actually, I could see dropping down again. It is very good in RU, but I never saw it being that popular. It's good for webs, obviously, and it is a good special attacker, but no, in the end I could probably see it dropping back down, because honestly, I don't see it all that much. I don't see it being a big threat. There's other webbers like Araquanid, and as special attackers go, you got better stuff like Gardevoir there, so that remains to be seen. ZU to RU, Politoed. Obviously this thing gets Drizzle, so it's a very useful thing to have on rain teams. No surprises there. PUBL to NU. We got Absol, Magmortar, and Magneton, and Mesprit. All very understandable. Absol I tried in NU and it was a giant threat, so more than useful in NU. Magmortar, same thing. Magneton, and Mesprit. Mesprit got some very nice buffs this gen, so nasty plot, stored power. So absolutely, these are very agreeable tier changes here. ZUBL to PU, Ludicolo. I actually thought it might rise a little bit higher just because of the prevalence of rain teams, but I guess people have got other toys to play with in rain, so that's fine, that's perfectly reasonable. And the last of the rises, we have Gourgeist, whatever form that is, I don't know, they're probably all in the same tier now, I lose track of these things. But one of the Gourgeist has gone from ZU to PU, perfectly understandable, and Shuckle has gone up as well. Shuckle, to be honest, I thought would end up higher, because I've seen a lot of teams, especially in OU sessions that I've been watching, where people have been using Shuckle, so to tell you the truth, I thought Shuckle would end up even higher. But PU is perfectly fine, that's probably where it'll end up settling anyway. We're now going to take a look at the drops. Don't forget, if you haven't liked this video already, please do, it helps out my channel a lot. And let's analyse the drops. Lot of stuff to process here, and I'm not going to talk about every single Pokemon in detail because we'll be here all day. Let's start off with Ditto. Ditto is a bit of an anomaly, because honestly Ditto is only as good as the tier it's in. So, I guess OU to PU, I don't really understand why that's happened, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter what tier Ditto's in, it's still balanced by definition. UU to RUBL, Sharpedo. Yeah, that's fair. Sharpedo's good, but it's a glass cannon, so very vulnerable to, you know, lots of priority and obviously any bulky waters that can take its hits, so that's understandable. Huge tier changes to RU. RU has just received one of the biggest tier changes I've ever seen. I mean, look at all the stuff here. So clearly with the DLC dropping, you have a lot of stuff that was in higher tiers that people just don't use so much anymore because they're trying out the new toys, obviously, from the TUNDRA. So, many of these will not stay in the lower tiers. And honestly, I think playing RU is probably going to be a very wacky experience until a lot of these get banned, so let's go through them in order. Aerodactyl, yeah, that's fine, that should be in RU anyway. Araquanid, useful in RU and UU, so understandable. Articuno, yeah, kind of surprised by this, it's still pretty good. It's probably better than the regular Articuno form, but if you compare it to something like Oricorio Psychic, then yeah, lower tiers are suitable for it. These next four I don't really understand, so Bronzong, Celebi, Chandelure, and Cloyster are very much solid UU Pokemon in my opinion, but apparently people weren't using them, so You know, make the most of them in RU while you can, because I don't think any of them will stay. Maybe Bronzong, but not the other three anyway. Next two, we have Clown Boy, Conkeldurr, and Moonduck. I would like to see these things back in UU ASAP. They have no business being in RU. Way too powerful, and Cress is just way too bulky. It should never be in RU, it's too hard to kill. Next up, Darmanitan. Darmanitan's a bit of an iffy one. It's very good. It's certainly usable in UU, but it's too vulnerable to hazards, and if you're running boots, you're obviously not going to have the speed from a Choice Scarf or the power from a Choice Band, so in my opinion, yeah, it could be RU material, but I'd put it somewhere between the tiers. I imagine it will end up in the borderline eventually. Delmar's an RU, yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. Solid RU mon, not necessarily that great in UU. Diancie was sort of hovering between RU and UU from memory last gen, so I think that's around about right. It does get access to Meteor Beam now, which is a very nice buff, but presumably most people are still running the defensive set, so yeah, fair enough. Diggersby down to RU. Diggersby will probably end up going back to UU because of its wall breaking potential. I guess it's just not that popular now with all the other incredibly powerful mons to use, so I can see that rising back up. Doublade and Durant have no business being down in RU. Those are going to be moved up very quickly, I think. Entei Flygon, yeah, they're alright. I mean, they could be RU or UU. Not really a big deal to me being down in RU. Frostlass and Gengar. Frostlass is fine down in RU. Gengar, I'm not so sure about. I think that's going to be moved back up. Gliscod in RU is fine. Grimmsnarl does not belong here. Grimmsnarl is an incredibly good screen setter for hyper offense teams. Haxorus, no, get it out of here. Don't want to see it. Heliolisk, fine. That works in RU. Klefki, I'm a little surprised about. I don't think it's game-changing in RU, but I am a little surprised because it is still a very useful Pokemon. Kyurem has absolutely no business being in RU. I want that thing gone ASAP. It's just too powerful, too bulky. You have Ice Beam, Earth Power, powerful Dragon moves. Nah, there's no way. Lycanroc Dusk form. I'm actually surprised about this. I think Lycanroc Dusk is incredibly good, but maybe it just doesn't get the usage of the other offensive pokes in UU, so fine, it can settle in RU for a while, but I really think it will get banned at some point. Malamar moving down to RU, yep, that's fine. I think it will drop even more because Malamar just isn't that good, to be honest. Metagross down in RU. I'm a little bit on the fence about this. It could be either RU or UU. Same with Menjiao, really. They're both pretty good, but not game-changing. Mimikyu, yeah, fine. I don't really see Mimikyu as a big deal, but possibly we'll go back up to UU again. Necrozma's too good for this tier. I want Necrozma gone. Same with Ninetales. Ninetales is incredibly good for, obviously, Veil and setting up Hail for, you know, Hail-abusing teams. Noivern banned, too fast. Obstagoon banned, too powerful. Omister is very good on rain teams, but apart from that, not so much. So it depends what people are going to be running. Palossand, yep, that's fine down there. The Teapot thing, yep, no problem. PZ's alright in RU. Possibly will get banned, but we'll see. Raikou, I got no problem with that. Not a big deal. Regigigas, yep, that'll probably keep dropping down despite the buffs. That'll probably settle in NU. Registeel, yep, perfectly reasonable. Roserade and Rotom, yep, they belong in RU anyway. Scolipede should not be down here. Scolipede should go back up. Scyther is fine. I think it could potentially go back to UU, but for the time being, it's not game-breaking in RU. Galarian Slowbro and Slowking, I think they're reasonable in here for the time being. I'd like to see how they play in RU, so I'm cool with that. Suicune can go away and never ever return to this tier for all I care. Sylveon, nah, too powerful, too bulky to be in RU. Talonflame is pretty useless since the nerf, so I don't really care about this being in RU. Tangrowth I'm a little surprised about, but then again, when you have stuff like Galarian Zapdos, maybe it's not such a surprise that it's been dropping down. I can see it going back up to UU, but probably no higher than that. Terrakion, same thing. Terrakion is still very good. I don't think it belongs in RU at all, so I can see that rising soon. Thundurus is okay. I think the next few, you know, Thundurus, Togekiss, and even Toxtricity, they're good special attackers, but I can see them rising back up again. I think they've just dipped in usage because a lot of people have been playing with the new stuff instead. Obviously, when you've got stuff like Zapdos, Togekiss is going to struggle, but I can see them going up again. Zarina, yep, perfectly fine in RU, no problems with that. Umbreon is actually okay in RU, but as an RU player myself, I'd love to see it move back up. It'll probably stay here. I think a lot of people just got bored of using Umbreon because after 10 games of clicking Wish Protect over and over again, you tend to get bored of it and swap it for something else, so... Or at least I would. Maybe that's my rationale for it keeping down in RU, but... Yeah, probably will stay here, as much as I'd love to see it moved up. Yuxi actually got a couple of nice buffs. It got Nasty Plot, got Store Power, as did Mesprit. So RU is perfectly reasonable. It's a very good lead Pokemon for sure. Venusaur, actually not a big deal without Sun, so... If Drought gets banned eventually, I can see it staying RU. If not, it'll move back up again. Galarian Weezing in RU, yeah, perfectly fine, no problems with that. Zaru, I'm a little surprised about. I thought it would settle in UU, because I've seen a lot of people use it still in the higher tiers. Like a bulk up jungle healing set. It's pretty reasonable, but I guess Zaru's typing and, you know, just lack of coverage really lets it down. So we'll see how it plays in RU. I think it will get moved up eventually, but for the time being, it's fine. Right, now that that nonsense tier is dealt with, we'll move on to RU to NU drops. Comfy is down. A little bit surprised by that, but I guess a lot of people aren't using Comfy right now. In fairness, Comfy has a hard time dealing with stuff like Copperajah, or Steelix, or Savali Steel. All these big threats in the RU tier, so yeah, I can understand it. Druddigan down to NU. Fine, not a big deal. Espeon I'm surprised about. I guess, once again, it struggles with Steel types, so that could explain why it's dropped down. Gigalith, I would fully expect to move back up, because sand teams are still very threatening. And even if you're not building a dedicated sand team, Gigalith is still a very good special wall. Inteleon, I don't really care too much about Inteleon. It's probably good enough for RU, but people probably got bored of it and thought, nah, we'll bring it down to NU for the time being. Mudsdale is good in NU or RU. I would say it can stay in NU for a while. Still good in RU, don't get me wrong, but it'll probably settle in NU. Regice down to NU, yep, that's perfectly reasonable. Not that popular a Pokemon because of its low speed. Salazzle, Torkoal, and Xatu should not be down in NU. They are all very good Pokemon. Especially Salazzle here, with great speed, toxic that hits anything. I really see them moving back up. NU to PU drops. Ordino, yep, Ordino's terrible, so that's fine. Carbink is, yeah, pretty much the same thing, just a decent lead. Clefairy down. I'm guessing there are quite a few threats that deal with Clefairy now. Clefairy kind of hovers between PU and NU, so that might go back and forth. Drampa down, yep, no problems with that. Garbodor, I can see moving back up because I think it's still going to be very good in NU. Same with Golbat, it's an incredibly good physical or special wall. Lycanroc down to PU. Surprised by this actually because Lycanroc gets close combat this gen, it's a very nice buff. So I can see that moving back up. Ninetales is still good because of Drought. I can only think its usage is diluted because of Torkoal. Apart from that, yeah, I guess it's PU worthy. Alolan Persian down in PU, fine, not a big deal. Poliwrath, Rapidash, Sableye, these are all reasonably good PU candidates. I don't even know what Silvally typing that is, flying or water or whatever, but yep, Silvally in PU is fine for the most part, unless it's something like Fairy or Steel. Skuntank, Spiritomb, Tangler, all of those remaining Pokemon, very good PU candidates. Something like Skuntank could potentially move back up again, but the rest of them, nah, not a big deal. PU to ZUBL. Swoobat. Nope, I would definitely put Swoobat back in a PU. I think it's too good for ZU. We shall see what the council decides. And then finally, PU to ZU. Armaldo, fine. Dog. Dog should not be in ZU. Dog is way too fast for that tier. Calyrex is terrible, so I have no problem with that being in ZU. The next few I think should move up. I don't see Crustle, Cursula, and Glaceon staying down in ZU, but we'll see. Gothitelle, yeah, Gothitelle got nothing really special, so that can stay there. Now all of this next row, the second to bottom row, Lapras, Leafeon, etc, etc, none of these should be down in ZU, to be honest. Maybe Relicanth, but the rest of them, nah, they're good. I have no idea how they ended up in ZU, but pretty sure they would be rising again through usage. And finally, the bottom row here, Roselia, Stunfisk, Type Null, and Walrein. Type Null can get out of the tier and never show its face again for all I care. The others are perfectly fine. I think Roselia and Stunfisk are very good, but I don't think they're game-breaking, so they can stay there. Walrein, I don't know man, Walrein got Swords Dance, but that's pretty much the only buff I can think of. Really not that great a Pokemon, so ZU is absolutely fine for it. That is a lot of tier changes, folks. I hope you have enjoyed me analysing each of them. Not in great depth, but, you know, brushing over them. Giving my 2 cents. I hope you all enjoyed this video, folks. I hope you enjoy the new tier changes on Smogon. Very crazy, given that the DLC has just dropped and the tiers are very unstable right now, but yeah, let me know what you think about the tier changes. Any crazy ones that you guys weren't expecting, let me know in the comment section below, and stay tuned for some more competitive Pokemon sessions. I'll see you guys soon.